Hey homegirl, I am Kiani, the responsible homegirl, and today we are talking about a few things that you probably weren't taught about money. Now, if you grew up anything like me, I didn't learn about money at home, and when I went to school, I definitely didn't learn a thing about money, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. This video is inspired by the Responsible Homegirl Budgeting Planner, my budgeting planner that I created because there was nothing out there that I believe really helped me manage my money well, so I created it. So inside of our planner, we have this section called Money Management. In the Money Management section, it gives you all the tea on how to manage your money. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of things that is inside of this planner, and hopefully it helps you manage your money so your money isn't managing you. So let's get into it. This planner is a 6-month dateless planner, but as you can see on the side, I already have September and October listed here just because those are the months that I'm already like planning in or whatever. I need to put November up there, but we'll get to that later. But this is the money management section. So a few things that you weren't taught about money. Just straight off of the bat, money is just a tool. That's it. Most of the time, we treat money as if it's our master. We don't have a proper view of money, and because we don't have a proper view of money, we just do whatever we want to do with it. No, money is a tool and it should be used to benefit you the best. So just like we use a hammer to bang a nail in the wall, like that's the same way money is a tool. Just the same way we use, what's another tool? I don't know other tools, but the same way you use tools for a purpose, money is just a tool and it has a purpose. And I always say there are 4 ways to use money as a tool to fulfill that purpose. For sure, I remember it as SSIG. So what are you saving, spending, investing, and giving? And inside of the planner, you can see, like I broke it down here so that you can see that there are 4 different ways that you can use your money. Most of the time, we go to work, we make our money, we spend our money. We can definitely do that in our sleep, and then we barely save it. And there is more to money than just making it, spending it, and barely saving it. So when I say there is more, I'm referring to these 4 things. What are you saving, spending, investing, and giving? So I want to talk about each section a little bit in detail, and inside of the planner, you'll see me talk about it like as well. Just teaching you how to reframe your mind about money and different things that you need to be thinking about that you probably wouldn't be thinking about unless you actually sought the information or somebody just told you about it. So let's get into our first S, which is saving. When it comes to saving, you probably weren't taught about a high yield savings account, but every single one of us need a high yield savings account. A high yield savings account is simply a regular savings account. Well, it's not a regular savings account because it's different than a regular savings account, but it functions as a regular savings account, meaning it holds your money there. The difference is it pays you a higher interest rate on your money and it helps you build discipline. Now, most of these high yield savings accounts are online savings accounts, and they are able to pay you 4% in interest. Right now, our interest rates are at 5%. Now, I will say don't get married to the interest rate because the interest rates, they can go up and they can go down. But would you rather like have all of your money in a traditional savings account where you're getting 0.025% or 0.1% on your money that's sitting in a savings account? Or would you rather the 5%? I would rather the 5%. And just to put this out there, this is not a conversation of either or. This is like a both and conversation because it's important to have a traditional savings account, which is your regular savings account, and it's good to have your high yield savings account because, again, they serve 2 different purposes. Everything serves a purpose. And I really want you to just like adopt that mindset of thinking, what is the purpose of X? What is the purpose of Y? Like, don't just like listen to things just to listen to them, or don't get things just to get them. Like, no, why am I doing the thing? I said in one of the videos earlier this week, like, why is the question that is going to get you to freedom. Do not just play it safe on the surface level. Dig and ask yourself why. So now coming back to traditional savings account and high yield savings account, the purpose, I believe, of a traditional savings account is to really hold your short-term savings. So that's your savings goals anywhere between 3 to 6 months. You just want to have some money on the side. You want to sit that to the side for something. Maybe you're taking a vacation in the next 6 months and you need to consistently save for that. You would have that in your traditional savings account. Now, on the other hand, you need to have an emergency fund inside of your high yield savings account. The reason why I think your emergency fund needs to be in your high yield savings account is because this is money that you want out of sight and out of mind, so you're not tempted to touch it. There are some people who don't have a problem saving money. Their problem is they're touching it. But does that serve you well if you're touching the money just as quick as you save the money? Absolutely not. So make sure you get your emergency fund out of your sight. Make sure it is disconnected from your checking account so that you do not be tempted to touch it. Another thing, I believe that your long-term savings goals should also be in your high-yield savings account. Now, there are some savings accounts that you can have where they have different vaults, kind of like different envelopes, where you can separate the money. So you could have like a vault or an envelope that's labeled emergency fund. Then you could have another envelope labeled buying my first house or buying my first investment property. Whatever it is that you're saving for that's more long-term, that needs to be in your high-yield savings account as well. Why? Because one, out of sight, out of mind. And two, the longer you let that money sit there and season, the more money you will earn on it because of the interest rate attached to that savings account. So I'm pretty sure nobody has, told you about high-yield savings accounts. If you have heard of one and you haven't gotten one yet, what you waiting on? Go open up a high-yield savings account. Most of these accounts, they take $0 to open them up. So a resource that I always recommend is bankrate.com. So that's bankrate.com. You can go to Bankrate and then you can literally look at the different high yield savings account and compare the ones, compare the high yield savings account and choose the one that is best for you. I have one with Capital One. It's called a Capital One 360 account. But I know people who have one with Ally and Barclays and SoFi. Like, there's so many different high yield savings account out there that you can choose from. So go get you a high yield savings account and start saving consistently. Our next S is spending. I am not the homegirl that's going to tell you, don't spend no money. No. Because my thing is, we don't work just to pay bills. That was never the vibe. That's not very cutesy. That is not very demure. That is not very mindful. It is okay to spend money. My thing is, you need to spend money on what you value. Don't spend money trying to keep up with people who do not care, trying to impress people who do not care, trying to follow all of these trends that we see daily on social media. That is going to get you nowhere fast. So practicing value-based spending, and I'll talk about it inside of the planner, you have to be self-aware. You have to know yourself and go on this journey of discovering who I am, what do I like, what do I enjoy, what actually brings me peace, what brings me happiness, what brings me a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. And if money is attached to those things, it's okay. It's okay. Practice value-based spending. Do not get caught up in the hype. Bro, what is going on? All I'm telling you is practice value-based spending. Get locked in on you. Figure out what it is that you enjoy, what you like, and make a line item in that for your budget. I created a video on what you need to do on payday. So don't think that just because I'm budgeting, that means I can't purchase the things that I love. Yes, just make sure it's in your budget. And I'll make sure I put the video above so that you can refer to that video. But make sure you practice value-based spending. Don't get caught up in the hype, please. Next thing is investing. Now, in the planner, I talk about having a Roth IRA, but before I get into that, I just want to tell you that investing does not automatically mean the stock market. Many people associate investing with the stock market, which is cool, but it's just like one piece of the pie. The stock market is an investment vehicle. It is a way to invest. When you think about investing, I want you to think about growth. I'm going to say that one more time. When you think about investing, I want you to think about growth. So you are putting your money somewhere with an expectation that that money is going to grow. Period. Like I talk about in the planner, a Roth IRA. I learned about a Roth IRA when I was reading The Automatic Millionaire. And I want to say I referenced that book in a previous video. So I've referenced it twice. So yeah, that's a book that you should definitely read, The Automatic Millionaire. And a Roth IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. So I'm pretty sure you've heard like, oh, when I turn so-and-so age, I want to retire. When I, finish doing XYZ, I want to retire. In order for you to retire comfortably, you need to be financially preparing for retirement. It is not something that I believe we should leave in the hands of the government, aka Social Security. We need to lean deeply on our friends, or not even friends, our family members, because there are some people, who do that or whatever. A lot of this stuff happens because nobody had money conversations with us when we were in our 20s, when we were in our 30s, about preparing for the 60-year-old you, the 65-year-old you. So a Roth IRA is an investment account where you put money into the account. And the great thing about a Roth IRA is you don't have to pay taxes on this money because the money is already taxed. So when I tell you this is a great account to have, because we all know inflation is a real thing. The cost of goods, the cost of services continue to go up. What do you think taxes are going to look like in 20, 30 years? So if we put money in a place that is growing for us over time, and then when we turn 59 and a half, we get ready to take that money out and we don't have to pay taxes on it, sign me up. Sign me up. So make sure you do your research on a Roth IRA. I created mine when I was a senior in college. I started off with $1,000. I'm with Fidelity, and I chose Fidelity because I wanted to be with a company who I could get education from. So if I didn't really want to manage this myself, they have robo-advisors, they host classes, workshops, seminars. They have so many articles and different things that you can read. And I think it's a great place to get started. However, you can choose whatever Roth IRA you want to choose. I just think that it is something that we should be thinking about right now, especially being in our, mid to late 20s, early 30s. Let's start preparing for retirement. If you got an extra $500, go ahead and open up that Roth IRA, and every single time you get paid, put $25 in it, $50, $100, $200 there. It's not about the amount, it's about the compounding. So the more you put money in that account and you invest and it grows over time, you won't be looking back 20, 25 plus years from now saying, dang, shoulda, coulda, woulda. No, that is not your story. So the last thing I want to talk about is giving. Being generous. It is so important. And I think it's often slept on, mainly because people have this belief that I have to be making a certain amount of money to be a generous person or to be a consistent giver. And that's not true. Whatever level you are on financially right now, you have something to give. We are all blessed to be a blessing. If you think back over your life about some of the blessings, some of the different things that you have experienced, it has been because somebody has given you something. So I want to read this scripture that I have included in the planner that I believe will help you just think more about giving every single time you get paid. So the scripture is Proverbs 11, verse 24 through 25, and it says, when you give, that's my words. I should read that too. But it says, give freely and become more wealthy. Be stingy and lose everything. The generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. And that's Proverbs 11, verse 24 through 25. I know this to be true because it's nothing like giving and you get that feeling, that sense of fulfillment. Like you just get a different feeling when you're on the opposite side of receiving. After that, I wrote, when you give, you put seed in the ground that stretches far beyond you. You may not see the return overnight, but just keep planting. Give even when you think you can't. And I wrote that. That was actually an Instagram caption that I wrote under a video about, probably about like 2 years ago. I'm trying to see if I can find the video and insert it. But it was about Chad Boswick. He was giving a speech on stage talking about how Denzel Washington had gave some money back to Howard University, which allowed him to stay in school and, finish his degree. And I'm just like thinking, if Denzel Washington had not gave that money to Howard University and Chad had been the recipient of that money, that scholarship, whatever, there would be no Black Panther. Literally. So just think about, when you put seed in the ground, it stretches far beyond you. And you may not ever see it. You may not ever be able to even think or imagine what it could possibly do. But that is just proof that your giving stretches so far and stretches so wide. I'm going to try to find that video and insert it because it's really powerful.
I know personally that your generosity extends past what you have given on the stage and screen. Many of you already know the story that Mr. Washington, when asked by Felicia Rashad to join her in assisting 9 theater students from Howard University who had been accepted to a summer acting program at the British Academy of Dramatic Acting in Oxford, he gracefully and privately agreed to contribute. As fate would have it, I was one of the students that he paid for. Imagine receiving a letter that your tuition for that summer was paid for and that your benefactor was none other than the dopest actor on the planet. I have no doubt that there are similar stories at boys and girls clubs and theaters and churches across the country where I know you have also inspired and motivated others. An offering from a sage and a king is more than silver and gold. It is a seed of hope, a bud of faith. There is no Black Panther without Denzel Washington. And not just because of me, but my whole cast, that generation stands on your shoulders. The daily battles won, the 1,000 territories gained, the many sacrifices you made for the culture on film sets through your career, the things you refused to compromise along the way, laid the blueprints for us to follow. And so now, let he who has watered be watered. Let he who has given be given to. It is an honor to now know you, to learn from you, and join in this work with you. May God bless you exceedingly and abundantly more in what's in store than he ever has before. God bless you.
Those are a few things that you probably weren't taught about money. Inside of the Responsible Homegirl Budgeting Planner, I have some more stuff inside of the money management section, but I just wanted to share those 4 things, really how to use money as a tool, saving, spending, investing, and giving, and just a few things that you should be thinking about in each one of those categories. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns about anything that I shared, make sure you drop them in the comments and I'll be sure to respond to you, maybe even in a video or just, write you back or whatever. And if this was helpful, I want you to share it with a homegirl. Click that little share button, copy the link, and send it to the group chat or send it to your one friend that you have. Sometimes we got smaller friend groups. That's okay. But share it because I want to create a space where we are having more money conversations. So thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next video, and never forget, with exposure, execution, and consistency, there's absolutely nothing you can't do. See you next time.